Hey everybody, Erin here. So I wanted to start you with a quick video of my garden, June 1st for 2025. And I mainly focus on doing raised garden beds and just growing enough for our family to pretty much eat through the summer months, but then some food that we can preserve and then store for the winter months. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of my garden beds, what I have in them, how I'm planting them, and watering them, because I started with a new watering system this year and I'm super excited to see how this works out. So one thing I did different this year was I actually got a combination of vermiculite, of coconut coir, coconut coir, and you get that wet, and then it's equal parts with compost. And so then I mixed it up in a tub, and I actually topped off my garden beds this year. So in this first bed, because it's next to the house, it's kind of more shaded in a cooler spot. I started with my sugar snap peas down the center, and then I have my radishes coming up, and then in between the radishes I planted carrots. And so the carrots are just starting to pop out of the ground. The radishes were actually starting to harvest, and as of June 1st, this is how tall my peas are getting. So kind of excited about that. And then in my first little garden bed here, I just transplanted my parsley. So I have a whole bunch of baby parsleys starting to come up that I had done in trays and then just transplanted those. Same thing with this little one. This is all my basil, and I'm going to be freeze drying my basil this year. I absolutely loved how it turned out last year. Here I have my lettuces. So kind of a leaf lettuce variety and a head lettuce variety. It obviously needs to start getting harvested, and we're supposed to have some 80-degree days, 85-degree days this next week, and then the rest is supposed to be 70. So I'm hoping it hangs in there through that hot day. But then in between the lettuces, I planted beets. You can kind of see a few beets coming up there. And then this is the new irrigation system that I just finished putting in yesterday to help water all my garden beds. In here, I have my chives. Now, last year's dill reseeded itself. Like, look at this. This dill is completely covered the beds. I even have some sporadic dill growing here in the cracks. So again, with the freeze dryer, once I have a trip now that I'll be on for 12 days, but when I get back, I'm going to start harvesting the dill, just pulling up the plant, cutting off the tops, and then freeze drying the dill. Along with my chives, I'm going to freeze dry as well. I absolutely love the freeze dried herbs. And then, so I do have some asparagus in here. It doesn't seem to be doing as well this year. I'm not sure why. Maybe I should look at transplanting it out of the bed and putting it in real ground. But then, for those of you that are familiar with ground cherries, so my ground cherries are coming back and they are starting to spread all over in here, and I can kind of pick them out. So the ground cherries produce just a nice little fun tomato-y type cherry thing. Then I noticed some of my cilantro came back. I'm not a fan of cilantro, but I'll leave a few stalks in here for, salsas and things like that. And then I did plant over here 2 cucumber plants. Last year, the 2 cucumber plants that I had did great, so that's all I need for this year. And then just like last year, I have an entire bed of onions, and I'll be freeze drying the onions as well. I might even try freeze drying some of the onion tops as it gets a little thicker. Now, none of my mints came back last year. So the only thing I could think of is because I forgot to cover them with leaves come our winter, and so then they completely died. So then in here, I still have a few cells I'm waiting to see, like I planted citronella, lemongrass, still waiting for some of that to come up. And then I did purchase 2 mints, a chocolate mint, mojito mint. So I'm going to look forward to freeze drying those. And then 1 zucchini plant, because 1 zucchini plant can produce a lot. And then in my bed over here, I have, these are all cauliflowers that I purchased. And then in the middle here, I have kohlrabi, broccoli, and more cauliflower, kind of just on this half of the bed. So some of my little transplants are starting to really do something. And then I did purchase pepper plants because my peppers did not come up from seed like I was hoping. So this is just going to have to work for this year. And then in my herb beds, so last year I had oregano, rosemary, thyme. It doesn't look like any of those came back, but I'm not going to disturb the soil and just see if something reseeded. My Melissa is coming back. So these are all little Melissa plants, or lemon balm, some people call them. And then I freeze dried that last year for tea. It was wonderful, and it tastes more Fruit Loopy. Then in this bed, my chamomile is coming back. So here's my chamomile, and it's just full of chamomile. So I'm gonna just let those go ahead and take off, and then I will freeze dry the chamomile flowers. My lavender plant did not come back. So today I just spread my lavender seeds out. Will I get enough lavender to even freeze dry it for tea? I don't know, but we'll plant it there anyway. And then I had a bunch of leftover red potatoes that had humongous vines on them. So this half of the bed is my potatoes, and then this half of the bed is beans. And so the beans are actually looking really well already. And so again, 2 rows. It might be too thick, we'll see. And then in this one, I have, that I started from seed, a cantaloupe, and then there's another cantaloupe here. And then I have 2 pumpkins, and I'm just gonna let those grow out into the yard, and we'll see how those do. So now that I've got these extra beds, I'm able to start planting more things. So I'll keep you updated throughout the season, month by month, as to how this does. In the meantime, feel free to leave comments or questions of things that you may want to grow, or if I can help you with advice on how to grow. And then one last thing, these are my tomato plants. So I did start them from seed, but they're not like doing great yet. So I'm hoping, like this is it's just got its 2 leaves. I'm hoping after my 12-day trip that these will be doing much better, and then I'll give you an update in July. So I hope you all are having a wonderful planting season.